Good morning, student. Today I am going to start the chapter 3rd. Topic is Methods of Calculating National Income. This is part 1. In this chapter, Methods of Calculating National Income, here we are going to learn three methods: value added method, income method, and expenditure method. Let me start. First of all, here we will discuss that those questions that I had given in previous video as homework. Okay, here in this question, nominal GDP is given 840 and GDP deflator is 7 upon 5. We can write it 1.4 R in percentage 140. Why? Because GDP in deflator indicate price index. Okay. Now we have to calculate real GDP. So here the equation of real GDP, nominal GDP upon GDP deflator. When we will put the value here, we will get the answer 600 crore. Okay. Now the next question, if nominal GDP is rupee 18,000 crore and real GDP is 12,000 crore, calculate GDP deflator. So here the equation for calculating GDP deflator is nominal GDP upon real GDP. When we put the value, we get the answer 1.5 and in the percentage 150%. Okay. Now let me start our chapter. In this video, I am going to cover income method and its theory. Okay, and in the next video we will do the questions, numerical questions. Okay, so let me start this chapter. uh, there are three methods to calculate national income. National income means N N P F C. Okay, student. And what is an NNPFC? It includes all factor income that is earned within the domestic country, the domestic territory, as well as outside the domestic territory. Okay, by the normal residents. Okay, so for calculating the national income, yeah, factor income that is generated within the country plus outside, there are the three way. First is value added method, this is known as a production method. Second is income method, known as a distribution method also. And third one is expenditure method. And most important point is that all three methods give you same amount. Okay, whatever method you are going to use, it gives same estimation of national income. Okay, so in this video I am going to start with the income method. What is income method? So according to income method, national income is estimated by adding incomes earned by all the factor of production from their factor service during a year. It's mean income method is related to sum total of factor income that is earned by normal residents within the country plus outside the country. Okay, that is why when we are going to calculate NNPFC, we add NFIA, and in this way we are able to get NNPFC. Okay, now let me understand income method, how we are going to get NDPFC. So let me start. So first of all, the detail of income method. It is also known as a distribution share method or factor payments. Already I had told you that national income is estimate in terms of factor income to honor of factor of production during an accounting year. Okay, and when we add these factor income, we are able to get domestic income. And when we add net factor income from abroad, means NFIA, then we are able to find out national income. So let me understand how we are able to get domestic income. So first of all, classification are type of factor income. In income method, what we are going to do, we are going to add all the factor income that is earned within the domestic territory and outside the domestic territory. So first of all, to getting factor income within the domestic territory, we will add these components. Here first component is compensation of first component is compensation of employees, that is given to workers, that is received by workers for their work. But in when I had clear you concept of factor income, then I had told you कि labor gets या worker gets wages. But here we are not going to use the term wage, because a worker not only get monetary income from its employee, but it gets more benefit from production unit. So that is why it is known as a compensation of employees. So compensation, the first component of national income method, the first component of income method is compensation of employees, and it includes four things: wages and salary in cash. So wages and salary in cash means it is related to basic payment that is given to employees. Okay, and it also include TA, DA, house rent allowances, bonus, sick leave, leave travel concession. Okay, so basically it is related to payment that is given to employees by their employers. Okay, now payment in kind. Payment in kind is related to benefits that is given to employees by employers. So it includes medical allowances, free fooding and lodging, convenience facility, education facility, rent free accommodation, etc. Okay, now third is employers contribution to social security scheme. Employers not only give payment to their employees and free house, medical facility, education facility, but also they make the arrangement of some social security scheme like provident fund. Okay, and there are more example: family allowances, life insurance. Okay, so these are given to employer by their employees. Okay, now next component is pension on retirement. Okay, it is very important that old age old age pension is not included in it. Why? Because old age pension is a transfer income. Okay, it is a transfer income. Okay, we are talking about pension on retirement, not old age pension. So this pension is given only to those workers they have done job in a particular organization or in production unit, and in return they are getting this retirement pension, and they also contribute in it. So this fourth component, pension on retirement, is included, but don't confuse with old age pension. Old age pension is an transfer income. Okay, so compensation of employees is the sum total of four things: wage and salary in cash means monetary payment. Okay, payment in kind, it is related to medical, education, convenience facility, free fooding. Okay, employers contribution to social security scheme, it is related to arrangement of provident fund, insurance, etc. Now last one is pension on retirement. Okay, now let me understand the second component. Second component is operating surplus, it is known as a OS. So what is its meaning? Income from property and entrepreneurship in the form of rent, royalty, interest, and profit is termed as operating surplus. In very easy way, operating surplus is the sum total of rent, royalty, interest, and profit. Okay, now there are two main components of operating surplus. First is income from property. So from income from property, a person will get rent, royalty, and interest. Who get rent? Who is the owner of land? If you are having a house and if you are going to give it on rent, so obviously you are going to get some money who are going to use it. Okay, this is known as a rent. Okay, now royalty. So royalty is refers to income generated from guarantee, leasing rights or copyrights. For example, if you take the example of Dabur oil, okay, so Dabur oil is not manufactured by Dabur company, but it is marketed by Dabur company. It's mean Dabur company is uh, going to give authority to manufacturing company to use its trademark. The company who is using the trademark of Dabur, they have to give some money, and that is taken as a royalty. Okay, rent is clear. If you are having a room, extra room, if you give it to a student, whatever money is given, that is considered as a rent. Royalty, suppose there is a firm, they are producing something. If Dabur has given authority to use their trademark, so whatever money is given in return, that is considered as a royalty. Okay, so royalty is what? Income generated from guarantee, lease right or copyright, etc. Okay, now interest, if you are having capital, if you are having money and going to give it to any person, so obviously you are able to get the money in return. This is known as a interest. Okay, student. Now, so income from property includes three things: rent, royalty, and interest. Rent is received by landowner. Royalty is received by a person who is having special ownership of any property. Interest, who is having capital and going to lend out the money, that person receive interest. Okay, now second part, income from entrepreneurship. It is related to profit. Okay, profit is a factor. Make correction here, it is not okay, it is a profit is a factor income generated from entrepreneurship. Okay, and profit is further divided into three parts. Profit is equal to dividend, corporate tax, and corporate saving. Dividend, what is dividend? It is distributed among the shareholders. The income that is distributed among the shareholders, that is known as a dividend. What is corporate tax? So tax on profit which is paid to the government by the production unit, that is considered as a corporate tax. Corporate saving, so these are the undistributed profit which are retained as result to expand business or to meet any unexpected expenses. And it is also known as a undistributed profit and retained earning. It is important, learn these name: undistributed profit, retained earning, and corporate saving. These are the same thing. When you are solving the numerical question, so sometime retained earning term is used, sometime undistributed profit term is used, and sometime corporate saving. All these things are same. Okay, what is corporate saving? When an entrepreneur distribute dividend and corporate tax, whatever the part of profit is left, that is considered as a corporate saving, and this part is used by the entrepreneur to expand its firm. Otherwise, whatever unexpected uh, expenses is required in future, for that it is used. Okay, so in short, operating surplus is the sum total of rent, royalty, interest and profit. Rent, royalty and interest is earned from property and profit is earned from entrepreneurship. Okay, and profit is further divided into three parts: dividend, corporate tax and corporate saving. And this corporate saving is known as a undistributed profit also and retained earning also. Okay, now the here is given a high order thinking question. Operating surplus does not arise in subsistence sector and general government sector of the economy. Why? Okay, so what is, first of all, you needed to understand the meaning of subsistence sector. When a producer is producing something that is only able to fulfill the requirement of his or her family, then it is known as a subsistence sector. Okay, and that is why it is not able to produce marketable surplus, and this is why it is not considered as a operating surplus. Okay, so what is subsistence sector? If production is meant only for subsistence of the producing families, if production is this much only, that it is only able to complete the requirement of production family, there is no extra that the producer is going to sell and get something. So in this case there is no operating surplus. Okay, general government is also not, there is not also going to be any operating surplus. Why? Because general government do all the work for welfare of the people. Okay, it produce goods and services not for profit, not for sell in the market. They produces goods and services so that there will be increase in welfare of people, like services of law and order, defense are available to the people free of charge. Okay, so in this way, in subsistence sector and in general government, we don't find operating surplus. Now the third component is mixed income. What is mixed income? It is the income of self-employed person. It is the income of self-employed person. If a person is using its own labor, land, capital and entrepreneurship, okay, then it's, yeah, her or his income is considered as a mixed income. For example, suppose take a example, there is a person, he is a barber. So suppose he open its saloon in its own home, it's mean he is going to make the use of its own land, he is going to use its own capital. Okay, and he work in this barber shop himself. So in this way he is making all its own resources. That's why he is able to get wages, rent, interest and profit, and his income is mixed income. That is why it is called as a mixed income. So in very simple language, if a person is self-employed, he is using his own resources, so his income is considered as a mixed income. Why? Because his income is the mixture of wages, rent, interest and profit. Okay, now when we are going to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 means COE plus OS plus mixed income, so we are able to get NDPFC, that is considered as a domestic income. Let me understand it in further slide. Here, when we are going to add compensation of employees plus operating surplus, then in this mixed income, then we are able to get domestic income, means NDPFC. Okay, now compensation of employees is sum total of salary and wages in cash, salary and wages in kind, employers contribution to social security scheme. Okay, and operating surplus is sum total of rent, royalty, interest and profit, and this profit is further divided into three parts: dividend, undistributed profit and corporate tax. And when we add it, these three plus profit and mixed income, we are able to get NDP-FC. Okay, now how we are going to get national income? So let we understand it. When we are going to add COE, OS and MI, then we are able to find out NDP-FC. This COE, how we will get: wages in cash, wage in kind, employers contribution to social security scheme and retirement pension. When these are added, then we get COE. Okay, now OS. Sometime in question, operating surplus, the value of operating surplus is not directly given, it is given in its component. So what are its component? Operating surplus is the sum total of rent, royalty, interest and profit. One more thing, if we want to make question more complicated though, then in that condition profit is also not given directly, it is given in its component. And what are the component of profit? So profit is sum total of dividend, corporate tax and corporate saving. So in this way, when we are going to add these three, COE, OS and MIE, then we are able to get NDP-FC. Now for getting national income means NNP-FC. What we have to add? NFIA. Why? Because here is one difference, here is domestic, here is national. When we are moving from national to domestic, then we have to add NFIA. So when we add NFIA, we get NNP-FC. And how we get NDP-FC? By adding compensation of employees, operating surplus and mixed income. And compensation of employees is the sum total of wage in cash, wage in kind, employers contribution in social security scheme, retirement pension. And operating surplus is sum total of rent, royalty, interest and profit. And profit also has three parts: dividend, corporate tax and corporate saving. And this corporate saving is known as retained earning and undistributed profit also. Okay, so I think you are able to understand how we can calculate national income by using income method. First we have to do first step, in which when we add COE, OS and MI, then we are able to get NDP-FC. In this NDP-FC, when we add NFIA, then we are able to get the value of national income, means the value of net national product at factor cost. Now, precaution regarding income method. There are many things that is not included in national income. So that is considered as a precautions regarding regarding income method. Let we understand it. So first is transfer earning. Transfer earning. What is transfer earning? Transfer earnings are one-sided payment. Those payment that is received by a person, but in return he is not going to contribute in production of goods and services. For example, your pocket money. You are getting pocket money from your guardian, but you are not doing anything that going to increase family income. Okay, so transfer income is not included in national income, first thing. And here is given some example of transfer income: old age pension, unemployment allowances, scholarship, pocket expenses. Okay, and reason is given because there will be no value addition in the economy, that is why we are not going to include transfer income. Okay, now second is income from illegal activity. What is illegal activity? When you are getting money by theft, by gambling, these are the considered as a illegal activity. So whatever income is earned by such type of activity that is not included in national income when we are using income method. Region, because these are black money and it is not going to increase the flow of goods and services. Okay, now next, commission paid on sale and purchase of second hand good, it is going to be added. It is going to be added. Why? Because it is the reward of rendering factor service. Okay, now brokers get brokerage, that is also included in national income. Why? Because it is reward of factor services. Next is income in terms of windfall gains is not included in national income. Why? Because of this windfall gain there will be no increase in production of goods and services. And what is windfall gain? Lottery, you are going to any coupon, getting any coupon, so such type of income is not included in national income. Now next, imputed rent, it is going to be included. Imputed rent of own occupied house is included in national income. Okay, now next is self consumption. Production of self consumption is also included in national income. This is not included. Production for self consumption is also included in national income. Example, when a farmer, suppose a farmer produces 20 quintal of wheat, it keep 10 quintal with itself and sell 10 quintal in the market. So this 10 quintal is the value, the imputed value of this 10 quintal will be added in national income. Okay student, in this way commission on paid on sale and purchase of second hand good is added, brokerage is added. Okay, imputed rent of own occupied houses is added, production of self consumption is also included, windfall gain is not included. Now corporate tax, dividend and undistributed profit is not going to be included if profit is already included. If the value of profit is given in the question, then you are not going to include these things. Why? Because profit is sum total of corporate tax, dividend and undistributed profit. If you are going to add any one of them, there will be overestimation. So that is why when the value of profit is given, we are not going to add any component. Okay, so we are not going to add these component if the value of profit is given. Now income tax is paid by employees is also not included in NI, in calculation of NI. Why? Because it is given from their income. Okay, now next, wages and salary in cash and kind and social security contribution by employees, these are not included. If in question COE is given, then we are not going to add any one of them. Why? Because there already CO is the sum total of wage and salary in cash, in kind, employers contribution to social security scheme. If we add any one of them, then there will be overestimation of national income. So when CO is given, we are not going to add any component. When profit is given, we are not going to add any its component. Same way income tax is also not added in national income. Why? Because it is paid from the COE, from the income. Okay, thank you student. In the next video we will learn how to solve the question regarding income method, how we can calculate national income with the help of the income method. Thank you.